Hi, this afternoon, Pam Ross and I are having a visit. I'm Bonnie White. I manage the West Marin branches of the Marin County Free Library and also West Marin Literacy Services, where Pam has been a volunteer tutor for many, many years. So I just want to talk to you a little bit, Pam, about what that's been like for you and about your student. So who are you currently tutoring?
I'm tutoring a woman who lives right here in Point Reyes, whose name is Defensa Martinez, and we began in 2009, so we've been at it for quite a
Wow.
long time. When we started, she didn't speak a word of English.
Yes, I remember.
Now she understands a huge amount of English. She still has difficulty producing the language, but she does well enough to be able to do things that she needs to do at her work, at school meetings for her kids, at
Wonderful.
the places where it's necessary.
So when you started out, did you ask her about what she would like to accomplish by learning English?
I did. And of course, our communication was extremely minimal at the
Yes.
beginning. I don't speak Spanish. I've learned a lot of words through working with her, of course, but I don't speak the language. But it was clear, she did say very clearly, she wanted to learn English so she could get a better job.
Wonderful. So when, in the beginning, when you didn't speak Spanish and she didn't speak English, how did you communicate?
We did a lot of acting out. We pointed at things. Um, we had some books. There's quite a good library here of materials for teachers, and I took out a couple of the beginning books and we worked from those. Um, and it was slow at the beginning.
As it can be. So let's see, you started in 2009, and did you start out meeting here in the library?
Yes, yes.
And so I know that you sometimes still meet here, but not always, right?
Mostly we meet here.
Uh-huh.
I do, at the beginning I went to her house a bit, but that didn't work well because the kids were around and it wasn't a good setting. So now we meet here right in this room every Friday, and we also meet other times just because over the course of this 7 years, we've become friends and we do things together occasionally, and we certainly attend programs together, and
Yes, I've seen.
we're going to be at the community potluck on Friday,
Wonderful.
and that kind of thing. And she comes to my house now and then. I go to her house now and then.
Wow. So in your role as an ESL tutor, it sounds to me as if, although you're doing a wonderful and generous thing, that also both people benefit from this relationship. Would you say that's the case?
Absolutely, absolutely. And my motivation when I started this, I admit, was not so much a burning desire to teach, although I had once been an ESL teacher. I'm not trained in it, but I had worked as one, was to get to know someone in our Latino community. I moved to this town without knowing people, and I quickly observed that there was a big Latino community here
Right.
that you didn't just run into easily.
That's true too.
So I asked around and was told there was this tutoring program and thought, I'll try it.
Wow, we're so glad you did, Pam.
Well, it's been great for me too. I really value Defensa as a friend and her whole family. You know, I know them quite well now. And it's certainly enriched my life. It's not just a job by any means.
And enriched ours too, having you do this. So another question I have is, do you have any advice for people who are thinking about become tutors about what they should think about?
Yes. You should think about what level student you want.
Mm-hmm.
When I taught ESL, I was teaching college students in Nepal who had quite extensive English.
Right.
And so I was teaching finer points of grammar, and many of them didn't speak very well because they hadn't had any practice, but they had a real base of English. I thought it would be interesting to start with a beginner. And it was, but it's hard.
You need to be good at acting, it sounds
Yes.
like, and pointing.
Yes, and we laugh a lot.
It's
you
true.
know, it's like that. But it's easier, certainly, to work with somebody who already has a base in English. On the other hand, it's a bigger jump for somebody who's starting from the beginning.
And I think you can make a bigger impact. At least that's what I've observed.
Yes, I imagine that is true.
So you would suggest that people think about the level of student they would like to work with, and anything else?
I think it's important to really make a commitment to do it for a year, say. It's not something that you should start and think, well, this isn't going so well, maybe I'll just go on to something else. You really need to commit yourself for at least a year, and then you'll get sucked in. But that takes a little time.
Because you make friends.
Yeah.
I've heard this over and over again, that the tutor-student relationship is mutual and mutually beneficial, and I've seen that over and over again.
And for me, it was a lot more fun than teaching a class. I've done that as well, and I enjoyed that very much and got a lot out of it. But that one-on-one tutoring really is different.
So do you think that you are going to continue tutoring?
I think so. You know, when we meet now, we really just talk. Once in a while, I write down vocabulary words, of course, and we practice this and that. But there isn't much of a lesson plan in the sense of trying to cover specific grammar points or pronunciation or anything like that. We did spend a great deal of time working on the driver's manual when Fensa was taking the driving test.
Class, I remember.
And that was very useful for both of us. She had the Spanish manual, I had the English manual, and we went back and forth and talked a lot, and I went out driving with her before she took her test.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that
to make
part.
sure that, you know, she understood the finer points. And she passed the first time with no difficulty at all.
Wonderful.
So that was a milestone.
Wow, you just must feel wonderful about that.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy her. I enjoy her husband and her kids.
So great. Anything else that you would like to say about being a tutor?
It's pretty much the most rewarding thing I've done since I've moved here. You know, I have various little volunteer things that I do here and there, and I would say it's a great one, and it's a great way to build a bridge between our two communities. So I recommend it.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Pam. Thanks for talking to us, and also thanks for all you do. And next time we'll get to Fensa too. She was at work today, but next time we'll have her talk to us too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.